probably many of you listening, I've spent a fair bit of time playing around with AI, trying out prompts. And sometimes, honestly, it feels like hitting a wall. The responses, they're okay, but just not quite me. Or what I need. So today we're diving into this hidden lever, really, that can transform that generic AI into something genuinely useful for your specific situation. We're talking about context management. Our mission here is basically to show you how strategically feeding background info to AI unlocks these remarkably tailored, insightful responses, stuff that feels custom-made. So if you've kind of mastered the basics of prompting, but still feel your AI results are a bit bland, maybe a bit generic, then this deep dive is definitely for you. So the big question, how does AI truly get what we need, or seem to? I mean, think about talking to a friend, right? A good friend remembers stuff, past conversations, your little quirks, maybe your preferences, those projects you keep bringing up.
Right, they have history with you.
Exactly. But AI, well, it doesn't have that kind of persistent human-like memory. It's a really fundamental difference.
Yeah, that's a crucial point to grasp. AI operates with something called a context window.
Okay, context window.
Think of it like a limited notepad, or maybe a very, very short-term memory. It only holds the current conversation. So your prompts and the AI's responses right there in that moment.
Just the current chat.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And this space, this window, is measured in tokens.
Tokens, heard of those, like bits of words.
Exactly, pieces of words, basically. Different AI models have different window sizes. Some are just a few thousand tokens, others hundreds of thousands now.
Wow, okay.
But here's the critical part. When that limit is reached, the oldest parts of the conversation simply start falling out of the window.
Falling out.
Gone. The AI can only consider the information that's currently in that window in view. It's almost like, imagine having a conversation, but you can only see the last, say, 2 pages of the transcript. If important stuff scrolls off those pages, it's effectively forgotten. Unless, of course, you bring it up again explicitly.
Yeah.
There was a great quote from a product manager. They said something like, working with AI isn't like talking to a person who remembers everything. It's more like talking to someone with a very specific, very short-term memory. They're brilliant about what you just discussed.
But totally forget what you said 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I've heard that one. Makes sense.
Exactly.
So what's the actual practical impact of this short-term memory on the answers we get?
Well, the information that is inside that context window, it massively shapes the AI's output. It helps the AI establish patterns. For instance, if you keep asking for bullet points or you use a really formal tone.
They'll probably stick with that.
Often, yeah. It learns from the immediate history. It also builds shared references. So if you define a specific term or an acronym early on, the AI can refer back to it without you needing to explain it again.
As long as it's still in the window.
As long as it's still in the window.
Yeah.
Exactly. And beyond that, it allows the AI to kind of implicitly pick up on instructions and constraints you've mentioned along the way.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting, right? Like, imagine you're talking about marketing strategy, and maybe early on you mention, hey, my company targets enterprise B2B clients, specifically in the healthcare sector.
Right, a key detail.
So the AI should, theoretically, tailor all the following advice to that context.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Until, potentially, that crucial detail about healthcare B2B falls out of the window.
Or you accidentally say something that contradicts it later on.
Precisely. Then the context might shift.
Okay, so given these, unique limitations, this context window thing, how do we actually keep conversations effective, productive, especially when they get long or complicated?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do we stop the AI from, forgetting the important bits and going off track?
Yeah.
A really key strategy is to summarize periodically. Just stop and ask the AI, hey, can you summarize the key points we've discussed so far?
Like a little reset.
Exactly. And you can even take that summary and start a completely fresh conversation. Using the summary as your new starting point condenses everything nicely.
Smart. What else?
Well, you can use explicit markers, like literally type important context or key requirement before a crucial piece of information.
Stand out.
Helps the AI potentially prioritize it. Also, refreshing critical constraints is vital. If you have non-negotiable, say, a hard budget limit of $5,000 or needing to comply with HIPAA, just restate them now and then in a long chat.
Don't assume it remembers.
Never assume.
Sure.
Another tactic is starting new sessions strategically. If you're making a major topic shift or starting a totally new project,
just start a new chat.
Often, yes. Better than continuing an old one that's now full of, frankly, irrelevant context from the last task.
Okay.
And definitely be aware of what we call context drift.
Context drift.
Yeah, where the AI sort of gradually, subtly shifts away from your original requirements as they get pushed further back, maybe even out of the window.
Right. I think I felt that happen. It's like it starts strong, but then the answers get less relevant over time, almost like it's getting distracted.
That's a perfect analogy. And, it's easy to get frustrated by that.
Totally. You think, I just told you that.
Right. But here's a pro tip, something really useful to realize. That moment, when you notice the AI seems to have forgotten something important you definitely mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
that's often a clear sign. It's the AI basically signaling to you, hey, my active context window might be full, or that info just scrolled off.
Ah. So it's not a bug, it's a feature, sort of.
A signal, exactly. It's your cue.
Yeah.
That's when you need to summarize or reset or refresh that context. Don't fight it, use it as a trigger.
That actually reframes it completely. It's like the AI is giving you feedback on its own limitations.
Precisely. Learning to recognize that signal is a game changer.
Okay, wow. So we get how the window works. We know how to manage longer chats. Let's talk specifics. What kinds of context really move the needle? What should we focus on providing to get significantly better results, especially for professional stuff?
Great question. We found it really helps to think in terms of, say, 4 key categories of context that consistently make a huge difference.
4 categories. Okay.
First up, industry and domain-specific context. This is all about helping the AI align with your professional world. So include your industry, commercial real estate maybe, or enterprise cybersecurity.
Right. Be specific.
Mention the regulatory environment if it's relevant. We need to comply with IPA, or our work follows ISO 27001 standards. Define any specialized terms, or tell it the technical level needed.
Like, explain this like I'm 5 versus give me the deep technical dive.
Exactly, and maybe provide some competitive landscape details. Are you a boutique agency competing against multinationals? Or the market leader? That stuff matters.
Okay, let me try to illustrate that. If you just ask, help me write a customer onboarding email. Super generic, right?
Sorry.
But now add context. Help me write a customer onboarding email for our SaaS project management tool. Our typical customers are mid-sized marketing agencies. They're usually switching from using spreadsheets. The email needs to emphasize ease of transition and quick time to value, but also acknowledge their likely concerns about team adoption.
See the difference? Night and day. The second prompt gives the AI so much more to work with.
Instantly more useful. Okay, category 1, industry domain. What's next?
Category 2, personal working style and preferences. This is about making the AI adapt to you and how you work best.
Making it a better assistant for me.
Exactly. Describe your communication preferences. Do you like things concise and bullet-pointed, or are you a visual thinker who benefits from analogies? Tell it. Explain your decision-making style. Do you need multiple options with clear pros and cons? Or are you data-driven and need the stats up front? Mention your work constraints. Maybe you have limited technical support available, or you need to present findings in a tight 5-minute slot.
That's a good one. Constraints matter.
Hugely. And also, state your own experience level. Are you new to digital marketing, or do you have 10+ years of experience in this field? The AI can adjust its depth and tone.
Right, so instead of just help me prep for my exec presentation, you add, help me prep. Okay, look, I tend to get nervous and speak too quickly, so I feel most comfortable with a really clear structure and specific talking points for each slide. Also, the execs I'm presenting to, they value brevity big time, and they prefer data shown visually in charts, not just numbers.
Perfect. Now, the AI isn't just prepping content, it's prepping content for you, considering your style and your audience's preferences. Much more effective.
Okay, that's 2. Industry personal style, what's number 3?
Number 3 is project background and objectives. This is critical for making sure the AI's responses actually align with what you're trying to achieve.
The why behind the request.
Exactly. State the project's purpose clearly. We're redesigning our website with a specific goal of increasing lead generation by 30%.
Measurable goals. Nice.
Provide the timeline and the current stage. Are you in the initial planning phase, or does the project launch next week? Context matters. Specify key constraints. Again, maybe a fixed budget of $25,000, or a requirement that it must integrate with our existing tech stack.
Technical constraints, yeah.
And sometimes it's really helpful to mention previous attempts. We already tried email campaigns for this and they didn't work, or our previous vendor couldn't deliver the level of customization we needed.
Gives the AI history, avoids suggesting stuff you already know fails.
Precisely.
So another example, just asking, help me create a customer survey. You'll get, what, generic survey questions?
Probably, yeah. Customer satisfaction 101.
But add the project context. Help me create a customer survey specifically for our premium subscription service. Context. We just increased prices by 15%, and we saw a 7% jump in cancellations right after. We need to understand if the price hike is the main reason, or if there are underlying service quality issues we missed. Oh, and the survey needs to be super brief, like under 3 minutes, because these premium customers are really busy.
Now, the AI understands the goal. It's not just a survey. It's a diagnostic tool focused on churn after a price increase. The questions it suggests will be far more targeted and useful.
Makes total sense. Okay, that's 3. Industry, personal style, project background. What's the 4th?
The 4th, and equally important, is audience and stakeholder information. Who is this for? This helps the AI craft content that actually resonates with the intended group.
Right, tailoring the message.
Include demographic info if relevant. Target audience is urban millennials, or presenting to both technical and non-technical stakeholders. Describe their knowledge level. Do they have basic familiarity with investing, or absolutely no prior experience with agile methodologies?
Huge difference in how you'd explain something.
Absolutely. Outline their pain points and motivations. What keeps them up at night? Our clients' biggest regulatory compliance fears are X and Y, or this committee is solely focused on cost reduction initiatives.
Knowing what they care about.
And detail the relationship dynamics. Is this the very first interaction with this potential prospect, or do you have a solid 10-year relationship with this client? The tone and approach should change.
Okay, final example then. Compare. Draft an email announcing our new feature. Simple enough.
Very simple.
Versus. Draft an email announcing our new data export feature. Target audience. Our enterprise customers. These folks are typically IT directors at large corporations. Background. They previously complained a lot about limited data access. They are technically sophisticated but also extremely busy, so they value clear, direct communication. Highlight the business benefits first, technical details second. Oh, and they've been requesting this feature for over a year, so the tone should acknowledge their patience.
Again, the difference is massive. The second prompt gives the AI everything it needs to write not just an announcement, but a strategically crafted piece of communication designed for a specific demanding audience with a known history.
It really paints a picture for the AI. Okay, those 4 categories are super helpful. Industry, personal style, project, audience. So we know what context matters. But the when is also important, right? Do we just dump all this info at the start?
Yeah.
Or feed it in bit by bit?
That's a great question, and the answer is, it depends. Both approaches, front-loading all the context at once and building it progressively, have their place.
Okay, so when is front-loading best?
Front-loading works really well for, say, one-off specific tasks. You need to write this particular email or create this document with very clear parameters already defined. It's also good when accuracy is absolutely critical, think legal content maybe, or when you just don't have time for a lot of back-and-forth refinement. Get it right the first time.
Makes sense. Got an example?
Sure, imagine. Okay, AI, I need to write a rejection email to a vendor. Context. We're a mid-sized manufacturing company. Their proposal looked professional, but honestly, it was priced about 30% higher than the competition we chose. We do want to maintain a positive relationship for potential future work. Tone should be professional, but warm. Please draft a concise, maybe 3-paragraph email. I'm the procurement director.
Boom. All there up front.
Exactly. All the necessary info provided right at the start for a specific, defined task.
Okay, so when is the other approach better? The progressive one.
Progressive context building is much better for more exploratory stuff, like brainstorming sessions where you don't quite know the final answer yet, or for really complex projects that you just can't fully define in one single prompt. It's too much, too many variables.
Or maybe if you're learning about a new topic as you're interacting with the AI.
Perfect example. You're figuring things out as you go.
So how would that look? Maybe I start really broad.
Hey, AI, I'm planning a team building event for my marketing department.
Oh,
Can you suggest some activities?
Right. Very open-ended. The AI gives you some generic ideas. Then you add a layer. Okay, thanks for those. Actually, I should have mentioned our team is fully remote, like spread across 3 different time zones. So we definitely need virtual activities. Also, thinking about past events, the team really seems to enjoy competitive elements and things that involve some creativity.
Okay, narrowing it down.
Exactly. The AI refines its suggestions based on that new info. Then maybe you add more. Those virtual options sound better. One last thing, we only have a 90-minute time slot for this, and the budget for any supplies or digital tools is capped at $300.
Gotcha. So you're building the context layer by layer, guiding the AI as the conversation develops.
Precisely. You shape its understanding progressively.
That feels very natural for complex tasks. But for those really long, progressive conversations, how do we stop that context drift we talked about? How do we keep the AI locked onto the important stuff?
Right. You need active management. We use specific context refresh techniques. We already mentioned the summary technique, right? Periodically asking the AI to recap key points. Super useful. Then there's the reset technique. This is where you literally start a fresh conversation, but you paste in a condensed summary of the essential context from the previous long chat. A clean slate, but with the core info preserved.
Okay, like a hard reset with saved data.
Kind of, yeah. Then there's the checkpoint technique. Within a long conversation, at key moments or decision points, you just explicitly restate the most critical constraints or goals. Okay, before we decide on option A or B, just reminding you, the budget is absolutely fixed at $25K.
A quick reminder.
Keeps it top of mind,
Right.
or rather top of window. And for really complex, ongoing projects, there's the context document technique.
A separate document.
Yeah, you literally keep a running document, maybe a Word doc or a note with all the key context. Company background, project goals, audience profiles, constraints, everything. And you just copy and paste relevant sections into the AI prompt as needed.
That sounds really organized, like a cheat sheet for the AI.
It pretty much is. Ensures consistency and that you're always feeding it the most current comprehensive picture, especially if the project evolves over weeks or months.
These are great practical strategies. Makes managing long chats feel much less daunting.
And remember that pro tip. When the AI does give you a suggestion that seems off or ignores a constraint you mentioned earlier,
That's the signal.
that's your signal. It's likely that context fell out of the window. Don't get mad, get refreshing. Use one of these techniques.
Okay, brilliant. Let's maybe wrap up with some final quick tips and tricks for really mastering context. Maybe some obvious ones, some less obvious.
Sure thing. Let's do a quick rundown. First, some obvious but essential ones. Always start new conversations for fundamentally new topics or projects. Don't try to make one chat thread do everything. It gets messy.
Keep it clean.
Yep. Get in the habit of copying and saving important context blocks you use, often maybe your standard company boilerplate, your main target audience description. Keep them handy for reuse.
Saves typing.
Definitely. And when you do need to update context mid-conversation, be explicit. Say something like, okay, slight change of plans. Now we need to adjust our approach because the budget just got cut.
Yeah.
Signal the change clearly.
Don't just drop new info without framing it.
Right. And use formatting.
Yeah.
Old text for key constraints, bullet points for lists, maybe headings and longer context blocks. It just makes your input easier for the AI to scan and hopefully understand.
Makes sense. Okay, those are the fundamentals. What about some less obvious, maybe power user tips?
Okay, some potentially less obvious ones. Consider creating a dedicated context bank, like a whole library of reusable descriptions for your company, your various products or services, different audience segments you target, your standard brand voice guidelines.
A whole toolkit.
Exactly. Saves a ton of time and ensures consistency. Another idea. Use context shorthand in ongoing chats. If you define a really complex concept early on, maybe give it an abbreviation. Then, later in the same chat, you can just use the abbreviation, saving space in the context window.
Clever, if the definition is still in the window.
Assuming it is, yeah. Also, experiment with the order you provide context in. Sometimes putting audience details before project goals yields better results. Other times, the reverse is true. Worth testing.
Interesting. The sequence matters.
It can, yeah. And finally, don't underestimate the power of negative context. Explicitly telling the AI what you don't want can be just as helpful as telling it what you do want.
Like what?
Like, generate some marketing slogans, but do not use any cliches, or explain this concept, but avoid overly technical jargon, or draft this email, but make sure it doesn't sound too salesy. Setting boundaries.
Setting boundaries. I like that. That's super helpful. Wow. Okay. We've covered a lot. You've just taken a really deep dive into context management. And honestly, this feels like a skill that truly separates the casual AI dabblers from, well, the pros who get consistently great results. You should now have a much clearer picture of how that AI context window actually works, how the chat history shapes the answers you get back. And crucially, you've got practical, actionable strategies now for managing context, whether it's a quick request or a long, evolving project. We've seen just how powerful providing that specific context industry, personal style, project goals, audience needs can be.
Yeah, and what's really transformative, I think, is understanding when to front load, when to build context progressively, and maybe most importantly, how to actively effectively maintain that critical information in those longer chats using refresh techniques. Once you grasp that, you unlock this ability to have much more sophisticated, way more productive, and frankly, often more satisfying conversations with these AI systems.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Definitely less frustrating. And this idea of using context templates or building your own context bank, that's about efficiency. It saves you time, ensures consistency, gets you better quality results. It really turns these general purpose AI tools into something much more like a customized solution, tailored specifically for your professional challenges.
Yeah.
It's about working with the AI's design, not fighting against it.
So, thinking about everyone listening, what does this all mean for you? Well, effective context management isn't really a switch you flip. It's more like an ongoing practice, a skill you develop. As you keep working with AI, applying these ideas, you'll start to get a feel for it, an intuition almost. You'll sense what context matters most in different situations, and each interaction will hopefully become more valuable than the last.
Absolutely. It becomes second nature.
This skill, mastering context, it really is your superpower for getting truly valuable, tailored responses from AI. It elevates the whole interaction. And guess what? We're really just getting started on this journey of advanced AI interaction. In our next deep dive, we're actually going to build directly on these foundations. We'll be exploring structured prompt engineering frameworks and specific templates that professionals use to get consistently excellent results across a huge range of different tasks and use cases. So definitely stay tuned for that.